Hi, welcome back to CS170. We're on for Excel. I'm gonna try to cover a few things um, that kind of split between this week and next week. But since next week you have your exam coming up, I'll probably keep next week pretty light and just put a little bit more on for this week. So, and we'll have some resources and whatnot. So I kind of added to here, but also into modules. So here, of course, my resources. Um, I just put in like the lecture slides for the VLOOKUP and the wildcards. We also have the lecture slides for which I'm covering right now, which is covering conditional formatting, tables, and what if. So you have Excel wildcards, Excel VLOOKUP, Excel PMT, charts lecture, spreadsheet resources. And if I look at my modules, I actually put in the resources here too. So if I click on the resources here, I put it in week 11, but it doesn't really matter. So you kind of see here, in addition to the other resources, you'll see some videos, you'll see some documents that cover different things. Here you can see they're talking about charts, doing counting, some commonly used formulas, pivot tables, which we'll come to in a future lecture, VLOOKUP, which we've talked about. So there's a whole bunch of resources out there. It should be pretty easy for you to get on top of anything that you're confused on. With the main topics for Excel, because like I said before, it's a very commonly used application in all walks of life. So there's a ton of documentation on this stuff. So if there's any confusions, let me know, but there's plenty of resources out here too. So let's come back to here and back to here again. I guess this is my resources. So I put all of this stuff here as usual. And I put the spreadsheet resources right here. Okay. So let me see here. So advanced spreadsheets for planning. I'm going to chop these up into a few more lectures. You can watch them either this week if you want to, or you can spill over into next week, depending on how you want to balance that versus your studying for the second hourly exam. Okay, so for this lecture, we're going to be doing conditional formatting. And so what does conditional formatting mean? Well, first, in the home tab here, you can see there's this option for conditional formatting, and you'll have different things here. And basically, it meets certain criteria. So you remember for the extra credit that you were doing for me, saying like, if you check whatever, right? It's below a certain number, you want to do a reorder, right? That was the extra credit. So similar type of thing, right? If it meets some certain conditional criteria, instead of you saying okay or bad or false or whatever, you're gonna basically apply some formatting to it. In this case down here, you can see some colors and stuff like that, right? So that's what that's all about, right? But to get to it, you have on your home, you can go to conditional formatting, right? And usually maybe you're selecting something or whatever, right? So here, it just kind of goes over a bit on different ways to apply these. They call it rules, right? So it's like a rule type. So a common one is to format cells based on their values, right? Or in this case, like here, formatting only cells that contain something. Or here you can say format like the top or the bottom rank stuff. Or here, like below or above average, something like that. Duplicate values, right? So these are just like different types of checks that you can apply. And then you can do something with it. Okay, so that's what this is talking about. So here we kind of set up something. On the left-hand side, you can see just a normal thing, right? So we're showing like a lower speed limit of 45 miles an hour. It doesn't show you the units, but I'll tell you, it looks like 45 miles an hour to me. And then upper limit is 65 miles an hour, okay? And then you have these cars, these 4 cars, and these are the speeds that they're traveling, Okay. And then so with some conditional formatting, you kind of say, oh, okay, let's highlight the ones that are over the speed limit in red, right? So this car is going 67 miles an hour. This one's going 100 miles an hour. And then you have this case here, looks good, right? They're going 55 miles an hour. They're right in the range there. This car is going 42 miles an hour, which is lower than lower speed limit, right? It's kind of not really arbitrary, but it's just a made up kind of type of thing to show you how to do conditional formatting. Okay. So here, a little bit difficult to see. So let me zoom in here. So zoom and let's make it 150% maybe. Oops, wrong thing. Go to here and let me zoom here. 15. I think it can go even bigger than that. So let's say 175, like that. Okay. So again, here you have the home, you have the conditional formatting, and you want to do some different things here. Okay. So very quickly, let me see if I can type these numbers in here. So lower speed limit, upper speed, car 1, car 2. Let's see if I can get this fill going. There we go, car 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Let's double click here. That makes the column line up and fits everything. So let's do 45, 55, 55, 67, 42, and 100. Okay, so let's make this bigger. We want to conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. And we want to do this one here. See here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so greater than this one, greater than the 65. I want to say this one greater than 65. There, okay? So what I did was I highlight the cells that I want to test, which is this case, cars 1 through 4. And then I want to check on they're greater than what. I could have just put in a value 65, but I actually want to make it flexible so I can change this, right? So I chose this cell. So what happens if I go here and I change the speed limit to 50 miles an hour, right? Then it picked up car 1, right? But let me put it back to 65. And this is that. Let me make this like the gray color so people don't get it mixed up. Like that. I'll make this bold. That. Okay. So what was the other thing we were checking? Oh, we're checking if something is less than the speed limit. So I'm going to go here and then conditional formatting, highlight cells that are less than. And what cell do we want to check for that? I guess the lower speed limit, right? So this is the 45, like that. Oh, actually wrong color there, right? Okay. Actually, I should just go to here. I want to do the manage rules because I created the rule already. So here I want the less than rule, right? You can see I can have the cell value is less than $N $3. And right now it's setting it to be red. So I want to edit this rule. And I actually want it to be, what color did they make it? They made it like some sort of green, I think. Oh, that's the text. That's not what I wanted. So what was that? That was black, I think. That was black. And then I wanted the fill to be, was it green? Like that maybe. And then there we go. Okay, so you can see, I'll go back to here. We have the manage rules. And well, so I forgot to do the selection here. And that's why when it says the current selection, there's no rules here. But I can just go in here and I can change it and say this worksheet, right? And then now, so basically, if there's any formatting rules anywhere in the sheet, I'll get it picked up here as opposed to me selecting a certain set of cells. So in this case, in this worksheet, I only define these two formatting rules. So conditional formatting, if I'm less than the speed limit, I'll make it green. If I'm greater than speed limit, I'll make it red or whatever this color is, darker or something. So that's this is how you can see what rules are in place from a conditional formatting perspective, right? So conditional rules formatting, and then hit the manage rules. And then, the conditional is this check against this range of cells. It says applies to here, right? So N5 to N8, okay? And that's what you get here, right? If you want to edit it, you can pick one of these, doesn't matter, pick this one, you can change it. And then you can say, how do you want to format it? You want to make it bigger, you want to make it a different color, whatever, right? You can do any of that stuff here, okay? So if you click on it, you can play with it, right? You can see all these different things, right? If it's equal to something, it's between something. If there's some text that contains whatever, in this case, you're doing a date check, top and bottom values, right? This is like top 10, top 10%. You can do like data bar, so you can kind of just fill it in partially, gradient. So it's all kinds of ways to kind of set exactly the name says, conditional formatting. Okay, so I'm going to stop the lecture here, and we'll call it the conditional formatting lecture. Okay.